Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy podcast. It is Saturday, July 3rd, and this is, what do we call it? A holy shit, that fucking happened podcast.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, exactly. I'm here with my co-host Keith Gray and John Taman. How you guys doing this weekend?
Good.
I'm doing fantastic, thank you.
Fantastic. Well, I guess we'll start at it, man. Big fucking news came out that Dan Snyder is fined $10 million for his role in the dysfunction of this organization. And man, was it a hot topic the past couple days. People are very, very upset. People I think it was just a mere slap on the wrist. We didn't get a written report, an executive order, or anything from Beth Wilkinson. The NFL decided to have it done verbally, which is pretty fucking odd, if you ask me. But we'll just start there. What are your guys' first reaction to this news? Keith, I want to start with you, my man.
Honestly, I saw this coming. We all should have seen this coming. If he was going to get suspended for a long period of time, I think it would have happened a long time ago. Obviously, when we saw Dan make the move to make his wife co-CEO, we knew something was about to go down after that. I'm kind of mixed with my opinions on this because, I understand both points of view. So I haven't really taken a side yet. My personal opinion is he got fined. It's the largest fine in NFL history, correct?
Significantly largest.
Okay. Now, people's rebuttal to that was 10 million. Who cares? He's a billionaire. That's like pocket change to him. Okay, sure. But the point is you can't fine him $10 billion, So you fine him 10 million. It's the largest in NFL history. And that was basically saying, because you're a bad owner, because you were not involved with your team, because you had no idea what was going on within those walls of your organization.
So he says.
Correct. And, I don't know. There's rumors out there that he was barely even in the office, I guess we touched base on that at the last podcast.
Yeah, supposedly it averaged around 29 times per year.
Clearly he was an owner that wasn't in touch with his organization. He was only in touch with who was out there on the field and were we winning or losing. But when it came to the infrastructure of his organization, he either had no clue what was going on or he had every clue and just didn't care. I would want to think as a human being, you would have no clue what's going on. But there are reports out there that, talked about him pimping out the cheerleaders and so on and so on. And so you don't really know what to think. The only thing that you can do, as a fan is say, okay, he was fined 10 million. He gave his wife to be in charge of the organization for a while he focuses on the stadium. And I think that for me personally, I just leave it at that. Right. I'm just wondering, 15 years ago, was this information that we needed to know? Is this information that we should care about as fans? Now, there's a rebuttal to that. You will have women say, absolutely, you should care. I mean, they paraded women around and so on and so on. So this is a tough subject for me to really take one side or the other. And I don't think that you have to. I don't think that you have to take one side. I think that it's okay to see both point of views and just move it along as fans, because truthfully, it doesn't really affect us, right? So with me saying that, when I hear that people are taking a stand and saying they no longer want to be a fan of the team because of the way that women were treated, I can't.
So be it.
Right. Like, okay.
Be on your way.
If that's the stand that you want to take, then that's the stand that you take. Because again, I don't think there's a right or wrong here. I just think that we as fans need to quit caring so much about what goes on in a front office, and we need to worry about being fans like we were 20 years ago when we never knew any of this information except for when ESPN reported it. And we just continue to be fans of the players on the field. We continue to cheer the team when they win. We continue to get pissed off when they lose. And that's just the way I see it.
John?
People can still do that. And I'm going to definitely take a stand. Look, $10 million is a drop in the bucket to his entire income, but we don't know what their bylaws are and what they're able to do to each other, right? What if they do fine him freaking $500 million? You know what's going to happen? He's Dan Snyder. He's going to spend another $100 million to out all their closets, okay? These are mostly rich old men. You think they don't have sexual impropriety accusations that could come to the surface about them? I mean, I can't say for sure, but you'd have to be awfully goddamn naive. So they more than 5 times the previous high fine they hit him with. All right. He has to step back. I don't care what anybody wants to say about this is not a suspension. Okay. So why is he leaving? Okay. They give him a chance to save face. Now, this is just my opinion because the owners, whatever they do to one of them can be done to them. This is not a court of law, and it's all up to how they handle things. So with something like this, they've got skeletons in the closet. And if that office was being run like that, then somebody's got to fall on the sword, and the buck stops with him. I don't care if he was there or not. That's his. It belongs to him. All those other people, they need to be brought up and freaking have to answer to that shit too, because nobody should have to put up with what we're hearing about. But again, highest fine ever, significantly most high. Dan Snyder goes along with all of this quietly. Yeah. He's just been is that Dan Snyder's MO? Has he ever done anything? I mean, one of the first things we all learned to hate him for was he marched out at training camp and made a couple of kids stop selling lemonade on the goddamn property. Remember that? Do you guys remember that?
I don't, but I mean,
look, Coca-Cola had the rights and they made him go do it. Look, you can't let these little kids sell 15-cent cups of goddamn lemonade, make them get off on the sidewalk. And that was right after he bought the team. They were still in Carlisle. I think they went back to Carlisle one time. And all right. So a lot of the other things that we read about Dan, how he treats his assistant on game day, making him go freaking 3 flights down into the stadium, freaking make 10 left turns just to get him the ice out of the ice machine he likes. So everything about him just says something stinks. He went along with it. It's the highest ever. There's, like you said, it was verbal. There's nothing written down anywhere. I really think this is the tip of the iceberg for him in terms of this thing, because otherwise, why all the hush hush? They try to do this quick and they're trying to sweep it away, make sure that the shield doesn't get too tarnished, and make sure nobody starts turning out their own goddamn closets.
Yeah.
So, yeah, somebody got Dan in the back room and said, look here, this is what's going to happen. And he was like, okay.
You know what I would like to see? And Jesse, I know you're going to weigh in on this, but what I would like to see is, a lot of people think that Dan's going to speak through Tanya now, now that she's running the team. I would actually like to see her.
Me too.
Step up.
Me too. Yeah.
Okay.
I think a lot of people would.
And to be honest with you, someone who was intelligent enough to come up with the Think Pink program and really push that, and do
the hard work too.
She did the hard work. She's a very intelligent woman. I have a feeling that one, this was a great move because it takes Daniel Snyder out of the picture. But two,
I'm going fishing.
Right. I do believe that it's going to take him out of the picture at some point. Is Tanya going to have draft opinions? No, but I do think Tanya is going to make other decisions that are going to be her
CEO decisions.
Correct. That are going to be her decisions. And it's just going to take some time for that to show. And I think that might change some of the fan base's opinion on how this team is actually going to be ran moving forward.
I don't care if it's Tanya Snyder or their dog. We've seen what Dan can do to this fucking team.
Right? Yeah, it pretty much anything's better than
anybody else.
So when the Washington Post article first came out, and it was just a hit piece on Dan, and the outrage was real. I was outraged. I wanted the fuck gone. I was disgusted. But I sat back and kind of thought about it, and I really read and you have to be naive to really think something was going to happen to him. He was never going to lose this football team. That was not going to happen. And of course, a lot of us wanted it to happen. Sure. Yeah. I mean,
15 years ago.
Yeah. But I am not surprised about anything that we heard on Thursday. It doesn't shock me whatsoever. The good old boys were even though the good old boys can't fucking stand Dan Snyder, they're still protecting him.
Well, they're protecting
themselves.
Correct.
They're protecting themselves.
Dan Snyder is the shield.
Yeah, exactly.
Jerry Jones tell you right straight up, I like fucking puppies, but I'll be goddamned if I'm going to convict Dan Snyder. He's going to make sure everybody knows it.
Jerry, what do you think about the whole ruling there, buddy?
That's what I say right then and there. Listen, I am a rich white billionaire, and I am old. That means I have probably fucked one of your wives. I don't know. It's been so goddamn long since I've met one of them whose name I remember. It's ridiculous. So, of course, I'm going to let Dan off the hook, because one day he might have to do it for me.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah, T-shirts on sale this week.
He's always pushing T-shirts.
Always
15% off. That's right.
Marketing. He's a marketing genius, everyone. He's a marketing genius. Yeah, I feel bad that those 40 women that came forward didn't get the peace of mind that they were after
yet.
That I do feel bad for them. I really do. It sucks they didn't get their pound of flesh. But after that initial outrage that I felt, I just didn't see it happening, man. Because usually it's for one thing, a whole year's gone by. Okay. And remember that Sports Junkies report that came out that they had the complete Wilkinson report and they, to me, in my opinion, I think that was fucking bullshit.
I can't even wrap my head around the words Sports Junkies report.
Yeah.
It
was so I think they got bamboozled. And a lot of people still believe that was true, which I don't.
So on that report, I want to be careful with what I say here. There was a few people that knew what was going to happen, and one person spoke. And the weird thing is that same person that spoke to the junkies also dropped nuggets in my DMs and also dropped nuggets in 2 other people's DMs with similar information. And I did back then, because I didn't care, I did tweet about it and did say I was careful with the wording that I used, because again, I ain't trying to get caught up in anything illegally. I mean, I don't know if anything can be done to me or but look, I didn't want any part of the wrath. But you get information like that, and if it's from a person that you trust, that you get the information and they're telling you, hey, go ahead and tweet it, just be careful with your wording. That's what it did. And part of what was told to the junkies was true, right? It's just the junkies, I believe, because they're shock jocks, they added more to it to make it seem like there was going to be more into it. And they were really pushing the narrative of getting Dan Snyder fired. And that's the narrative that they wanted to go with. And unfortunately, they failed on that once again.
Yeah.
That ain't going to happen, because if it, like you say, like I said, if you can do it to him, then it can be done to me. Yeah. So, and people have pointed at Jerry Richardson. Jerry Richardson broke criminal law. He paid hush money, right? So that's a difference here. Snyder,
they had straight up fucking audio evidence on his ass.
He broke the law. Yeah. Snyder could be on the hook civilly, right? And whatever's in this report that caused them to bring down such a huge freaking fine.
What is it? 3 years? All this stuff happened fucking 10, 15 plus years ago.
I don't think it's statute of limitations on it. And I don't know, man. Freaking Larry Michael heard the first breath of it and resigned immediately.
Oh, he got off easy too. He was
split.
able to fucking retire.
He was forced to.
They're done yet.
Again, because they know what was coming out of that report before anyone else. So again, Dan knew what was coming out. So Dan knew what was coming out of that report, what was going to be addressed to the media. And so we handled it beforehand when he started firing, those folks. Right. And so Larry Michael, because he had been with the team for so long, Dan wasn't going to say, hey, I'm going to fire him. Dan's like, I'm gonna let you just walk away, even though your name's about to get dragged.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you walk away. You're probably going to get a severance package. Thank you for your service, but I can no longer have you here. You're no longer an asset. You're what's the other word? You're damaging.
An ass.
Liability.
I think
you're a liability.
Larry Michael, probably on a daily basis in that building, is the one most capable of absolutely blowing up a bathroom.
Sure.
That dude just looks like he just loads it up.
I mean, I can't disagree.
I would not go walking in after him if he came out with the paper in his hand. You know,
I was just imagining that he'd fucking put the paper underneath his fucking walking up. Hey,
how you doing?
Well, and
intangibles. And
listen, intangibles. And I want to go back to the part about the Nugget, because the people who do listen to the show, there's always people that come after me that are like, oh, you're a fake insider and blah, blah, blah. Sure. Call me what you want. I'm no insider. I'm just a fucking, I'm just a freaking, I gotta
say what you want.
Brother. Fucking
Speak the language.
Come on.
I got a freaking.
It's part of the ambassador contract. Is that why he's doing it?
No, but I do have to kind of look. I'll get into that later. Anyways, I can't help that people drop these things. And am I 100% correct? No. And I was real careful with the Dan stuff, because I really don't want to get into that type of stuff. It's uncomfortable, just because, again, you had mentioned, 40 women. And that's kind of, I think, where we as males, where we sit right now, like, we feel bad for those women, and we're kind of like, taking a stand is not going to change anything.
No.
Right?
I don't know why not.
Huh?
I don't know why not.
So
we're the ones that have to change. If this kind of stuff is going on in an office.
No. We don't have to change anything, because we did not fondle those women.
Yeah. No, of course not. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in a general sense.
No. I'm talking about us, like the three of us.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Like, we didn't fondle those women. So it makes me like, we didn't do anything wrong to those women. So why should I feel like I have to take a stand by saying, I don't want to support this team anymore because they're a bunch of a-holes who fondle women.
Yeah. But the team is not.
But there's people out there, John. There's people out there that are making. There's people out there making males feel like a-holes because we're still going to support a team that had a front office that was doing this.
You know what? There's people out there that are going to try to make this male feel like an a-hole, but I'm there to watch the players and the coaches on the sidelines play a game of football. What goes on in the office has people have said, why didn't they really hurt him? Why didn't they find him a draft pick? Because that punishes a section of the business that has nothing to do with any of this.
Yeah. Why do you want the team, the players, and
they don't have to pay that penalty, right?
Right. Why do you want
this
the
is all off
players to be affected by this? Like, and especially these new guys coming in, Chase Young, Terry McLaurin, they have nothing to do with this.
That's not only them, the coaching staff, the new staff that's in the building. That there's so much turnover in that building that you would want to punish everybody else
working in the offices, right?
Yeah,
I don't think.
I mean, everything is pretty much fucking new. And look,
you can't punish the football team for something the football team didn't do. The people got to recognize that there's two entirely different parts of a football team's franchise. The office is wholly separate. What did Jason say to you? I have nothing to do with football. I don't do anything with the football at all. Right? He's all about the business. And there's
his exact words
separation.
To me, John, and sorry to cut you off, because
That's okay.
I really want you to finish your point. His exact words to me, I'm a consultant. Yeah. I mean, that's how he looks at his job.
He's running the business.
Correct.
He's here to clean up that mess. But yeah, none of the players had anything to do with it. I mean, I can't say that for 100% certainty, but you can't punish the team, that part of the team, and by proxy, the fans, for something they had nothing to do with. That's bad business. And, they're not going to do that. That's why they don't take a draft pick from them.
What this boils down to, and what I've seen on Twitter from the people who have had an issue with this, are people who are still saying, I'm Redskins till I die.
Whatever.
Because they're the ones who don't like Dan Snyder. They're the ones who want.
I don't like Dan Snyder.
And they were hoping for Dan Snyder to get the boot because they think that it was going to make their team better. And now that this hasn't happened, it's a big deal. But if you look at the younger fan base, the ones who could care less about a name change, who aren't Redskins till, I'm burgundy and gold till I'm dead and cold, folks, they're on the opposite end of who cares? Like, not that they don't care about what happened to those women, but we have no control over it. So
they don't put those women on TV on Sunday for me to watch.
Yeah.
They don't, I don't get to tune into the office and say, ooh, who's making copies? And I mean, I'm not trying to minimize anything, but there's two totally different entities.
Well,
Yeah.
And again, the reason why there's cheerleaders is not because we enjoy, because male fans enjoy their athleticism.
Their
and
routines.
let's be honest,
Yeah.
sex sells. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we listen, it's a subject that's going to sound, because it's three males talking about it and other, all males are talking about it. It's a subject that, it may come off insensitive, but the only way that we can address it and talk about it and resolve or find some resolve out of it is by being honest at what it really was. Look, nothing against those cheerleaders. They have probably a hell of a lot more athleticism than I'll ever have in my life. Right now that I'm 42, I'm dying on a half court basketball court.
You mean you can't do a pole dance anymore, Keith?
Not anymore. I mean, I could twerk though.
Oh, nice.
But it's not as effective because at 42, gravity's done pulled my ass upward. Yeah. So anyways, so what I'm saying is though, is like, yeah, I don't.
He's walking around like a gorilla, Jesse. That's all I can think.
Right. It's just, let's be honest here. And I think that's people are failing to be honest about the true intentions of what these NFL cheerleaders, okay,
yeah.
what their intention
out on the field.
Correct. And
it's just stripper dancing.
now, does that give the invite to do what happened to them? No. Absolutely not. And I'm not endorsing that.
It's still a workplace.
Correct. It's still a workplace. You still treat anyone, and especially those women, with respect. But unfortunately, when you have these idiots that were employed there who think that they're on top of the world, because we see how ambassadors are acting right now. So can you imagine people who actually get paid?
Yeah, I know.
From the organization, how they feel in their heads, how their egos, they feel like they're on top of the world, and they know that they can use that to their advantage. And those folks that got fired did that. And hell, it was in text messages. You've seen it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Again, there's no right or wrong on how you decide that you want to take a stance on this issue. It's just the last thing that I want to see is people being judged for how they feel about it, because it can go so many different ways.
Sure. Absolutely. You're 100% right in that, Keith. And, my advice to those that want to take a stand, you got to do you. I'm going to still support my team. I do not support Dan Snyder. Please do not take this the wrong way, because I think there's when I was tweeting about it yesterday, some people, kind of got the impression that I was on Snyder's side. That is not the case whatsoever. I got receipts to show how my disdain for Daniel Snyder is. It's just the facts of the matter. This is the real world. This is how this is a private business. They're going to do.
It's rich people. They do what they fucking want anyway.
They're going to do what they want anyways, and it's nothing new. This isn't the first time it's happened. This isn't going to be the last time it's happened. It happens every motherfucking day, unfortunately.
Well, I guarantee you, we're not going to be the only organization that gets popped for this.
No,
Oh, of course not.
No.
People are looking in. It makes big business.
Absolutely.
This
What
is-
this did was actually open the door.
yeah,
for,
it has, and as well as it should. And I hope
yeah.
you know we hear stuff, because getting the shit cleaned up is what matters now. We can't do nothing about the past, unfortunately. Can't do it.
You know, I
we
told you
got-
guys this. Sorry,
we-
go ahead, Justin.
Just one more point. They got rid of the fucking shits. Unfortunately, they're still the top shit, but they got rid of the people that did the sexual harassing, that did the stalking, that you know,
Blew up the bathroom.
They got rid of those people. They're changing, and yes, the fucking troll is still at the top, and there's nothing that's going to happen. There's nothing that's going to happen. There's nothing that anybody's going to do about it. Not that they could, but they're not going to. It's just not going to happen. Sorry, it sucks, but that's how it fucking is, man. Go ahead, John.
Right. Look, I told you guys this before. I'm a Penn State football fan. I have been ever since I was a little kid. And then what happened, and I was at a real crossroads. I was like, shit. And then it took me a while before I finally decided. I watched the players on the field, and they have nothing to do with this. So why am I going to deprive myself of something that I truly love? You know, just because I've got to take a stand, it doesn't fucking matter. And I don't mean that in the regards of the Penn State story. Once that came out, most of them had the good nature to die. And you know, the other guy, Jerry, what's his name? Sandusky got fucking sent to prison. So, but to not watch the game on Saturday, to not try to support those kids, it really had nothing to do with it. Same with this. I'm going to support the team. These people that say, oh, I'm not ever, how can I do this ever? I can't do it. Whatever. You're going to deprive yourself of something that you absolutely love over circumstances that you have absolutely no control over. And neither do the guys that you watch on Sunday. Like I said, I can't turn on my TV on Sunday and watch what the fucking coming up on what happened in the Redskins offices this week. Bullshit. They have nothing to do with anything like that. I couldn't give a fuck. I'm here to watch the game. Now you give me a player that's a jackwad that fucking rapes women or whatever. Get him out of there quickly. Get him out of there. But there's nothing I can do to control this. So there's no reason for these people to get let me get some social media credibility. Oh my God, there's no way I can support this team anymore without feeling like a complete fucking hypocrite. Shut the fuck up. Go shoe shopping on Sunday then, you dumbass.
This kind of also reminds me, and what I've seen too, people that are willing to sympathize with Darius Geis
Oh, fucking
aren't
Jesus
willing to
Christ.
sympathize
I
with
saw that. I did not even want to touch that.
aren't willing to sympathize with Dan Snyder. It's weird.
I don't know, man. It's people that would sympathize for him anyway. My God, look, charges were dropped. No, he paid for him to go away. Get used to this, kiddies. This is how the fucking world works. People with money can do things like that. That's how the justice system works. Well, he's still got charges pending, right?
Well, sure. But the thing is like the question gets asked, how do we know? It's the same thing like with Dan Snyder. How do we know? Well,
I'll tell you how we know. He has a lot of money.
Yeah.
The chances go up exponentially.
And that's what I'm saying. Money definitely makes a decision differently. With this, I just found it interesting how that dynamic, the people who were so against Dan Snyder were kind of taking the side of Darius Geis by saying he deserves a second chance in the NFL. He was found, all charges were dropped. We should just forgive this guy. Well, there were no charges on Dan Snyder. I mean, he was fined $10 million.
Perfect segue into
right.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So that's just what I mean. So it was just very interesting to see the dynamic. Now on Twitter, I stayed away from both. Like, I'm not interested because people can take your words and, like you said, Jesse, you may be coming off. And same thing with you, John. I know, John. I know you are not a Dan Snyder supporter.
Fuck that guy.
But you're a logical guy, and when we're talking about a certain topic, you're going to spit facts. And you're going to say, look, I don't like, you might say, I don't like the guy, but this is the way it is. And deal with it. Like,
get used to life, kids. That's the way it is. Look,
right.
If there's one thing anybody wants to talk about Darius Geis, talent, gets a pass. And if you don't believe it, Michael Vick, how the fucking anybody sit there and say, oh, we love killing dogs? Everybody hated that guy, but he's got amazing talent. So when he had an opportunity, they gave it to him. Darius Geis, if he could play, he'd be playing. Okay, but he's still got these charges pending against him. And tell you what, that knee is going to scare off almost 30 of the 32 teams, if not everybody.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
I want to kind of bank off what you just said and segue into the crime and punishment part of this. Yeah. We Snyder got a $10 million fine, hefty fine, and people say that that's chump change to a organization that's worth $3.5 billion or whatever. Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. The organization is worth that. That doesn't mean Dan Snyder is worth that. Okay, it's the football
Splitting
team
hairs.
is worth that. They said, oh, it's only 200 and some odd dollars. That's how it equals out to, or whatever.
I'd buy it for $200. I'll buy it. Shit.
That was the fine.
I promise I'll run a
Anyways,
clean office.
like you said earlier, it's the highest fine ever by a long shot in the NFL. Okay. From everything that we've gathered, and we don't know much. That's the whole fucking thing. We do not know. Actually, let me rephrase that. We don't know fucking shit. All we know is Dan Snyder's a fucking dick, and he's an egomaniac. He's an egomaniac. He is bad to his employees. But guess what? That's not a fucking against the law. Sorry, no, it's not against the law. It's fucking shitty as hell.
Well, I think what people want to know is, how did 10 million come about? How do you put a monetary value on a punishment? Right. And listen,
especially in that situation.
Correct. And so I think literally the only route they could go was, let's fine them 5 times more than, in NFL history.
More than 5 times.
Right.
Hey, look,
because
Bob Kraft.
Who's going to say something about that? But people were. And, but the thing is like, oh, but he's a billionaire. That's not the point. It's the same thing like when they fine players $150,000 for not being in compliance with their cleats. Right.
Right.
It's pocket change to them. Yeah. 150,000 means nothing. I saw 150,000 times 10 in that parking lot on Wednesday. Yeah. Right. They don't care about that.
You turned it into the police. You do the right thing. Do the civilly proper thing.
Well,
look,
the problem
Bob Kraft got caught in I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I tried to, but they were really heavy and on 4 wheels. So
look, Bob Kraft got caught in a whorehouse literally that was trafficking humans, and he paid a $1 million fine.
Yeah.
Dan Snyder got fined 10 times that. All right, 10 times that. There's something in there. Okay, because they're sweeping hard. They're like, here, where's that rug? Get me this thing under the rug real quick. Come on, camps are coming. Everybody get excited about camps. They want this shit to go away.
Well, I think it's it could be the years of
they loaned him money to buy the rest of the team, to buy the minorities.
That was another point I was going to make a while ago.
He has a folder somewhere. What do you want to bet?
You knew not a damn thing was going to happen when they fucking allowed him to purchase the rest of the fucking football
team. They gave him the loan to buy out the minorities.
Yeah.
He's got a folder in a safe somewhere. That I'm telling you, he's got a dossier on all 31 of those other people.
Hey, Dan, we'll scratch your back if you scratch ours.
We don't know the extent of Snyder, but I will say this: if it was his actions was so horrible that
if it was proven that his actions,
exactly, if it's proven that his action was so horrible, was horrible, like he sexually not harassed, but or sexual assaulted a female.
Crime.
Now,
right. Now you're talking.
Then we would either have a lengthy suspension, or it could be
that could get him the boot.
Get him the boot.
That's criminally actionable.
Sexual harassment is different things. It could be as little as he could have been peeing in in a corner of a fucking house, and a woman just fucking happened to walk by.
Wouldn't
He
that
could
be
get-
something?
Hey, lady, God damn it, I'm busy over here.
Or if he de-pants one of his friends on a plane, fucking, he could get could be sexual harassed. It could mean so fucking much.
I think they were pretty specific in some of the stuff that they said, and I would really doubt that he would ever de-pants anyone because his nose is right about the same level as the worst parts that he's going to possibly run
Just throwing
into.
examples out there, like
The
what
thing
you
is,
just said.
it's a civil matter.
The proven shit. Nothing was proven. Okay,
It's a civil matter. It's not a criminal thing.
and one of our friends brought up the fact that, well, there was a $1.6 million settlement that happened, was on the that happened that they had to pay from the girl that was on the plane. Well, guess what? We don't fucking know what happened. We have zero clue what happened. There was confidentiality agreement signed. It was a settlement that was paid that has zero to do with this stuff now, right here.
Does this all look good? No, it doesn't.
Not.
But it's getting cleaned up.
Exactly. And that's
Right.
why, and that's why the NFL so quickly, I shouldn't say so quickly. It's been a fucking year. Quietly sweeping this under the rug because they want it done or they want it gone. Guess what? Fucking Tuesday, no one's going to be talking about this shit except
Right.
for
Yeah,
maybe
they won't.
us fans.
You're right.
There's just
We'll have
nothing
that,
going on right now. So everybody's acting fake outraged.
This right
No,
here,
it is big.
this right
like I
here
said.
was
it's
probably
big,
done
but-
months ago. This report was done months of fucking ago. They were waiting, and look, this time last year, fucking name controversy. That fucking Washington Post, it all happened this time last year. You know why?
Now.
Because this is the time of year that fucking shit can get swept under the fucking rug.
Well, don't you think now after all of this that maybe the owners came to him and said, okay, listen here, you little twerp.
Oh yes.
You're going to change this goddamn name now because look at what's going to happen. But I keep going back to this. It's exponentially higher than what Bob Kraft got fined. 10 times higher. Well, maybe not exponentially. I don't know my high math. It's 10 times higher than what he got. It's more than 5 times higher than the highest fine ever paid. He's been effectively suspended. I mean, unless everybody believes that he's just
Gonna walk away for a little while. I'm just gonna stroll around over here for a little while, do some window shopping,
bullshit. This is how they say, look, we're going to have you take off 3 months. We're not going to say that. We're not suspending you. And that way, we're going to give you an opportunity to save face. There is something in that their findings. There is something in their findings that gave them the leverage to be able to do this to him because he's a little prick. And we know he's a little prick. He's the kind of guy that if they said, we're going to do this to you, he'd go, yeah, well, I'm going to spend a fucking $100 million and do it to you. Do you doubt it?
No, I don't.
When I say he's got a dossier on him, I'm only half kidding. He's probably got nude photos of Virginia McCaskey, for God's sakes. That's pretty gross.
I don't know. I feel like I want to defend that part, but
What,
it's
Shelly, you like her? She's hot?
no. I have no idea who that even is.
It's the owner of the Bears. She's like 102.
Oh God. Oh,
Come here,
God.
Ted. I'm ready for my close-up.
I don't know.
Let me unroll real quick.
And maybe call me naive here, right? And it's okay to call me naive with this thought because again, I don't truly know, but I would think as a married man, and especially his
His
said
wife's
this,
hot. I'm sorry,
his
she's
wife
beautiful.
is-
matter.
She's
His
beautiful.
wife is hold on though. His wife, I know, I get it. Money, power. I listen.
Yeah.
Listen.
It's a whole other world where they live.
I know.
That's so true.
I know it is. And again, that's why I say probably call me naive because it's not I'm not in that situation to have money and power like that. But I'm just saying, like, I just think on the moral aspect of it, I would want to defend him only because I do think that, he's got a beautiful wife. What are you doing? Like, why would you let these things happen? Especially like you're damaging everything that your wife has done within the organization to do good things for other people. And I feel like I would want to give the benefit of the doubt to a husband that's been married to her for as long as they have. I mean, I don't know. I guess they've been married long. So again, it's like I want to give the benefit of the doubt, but also at the same time, like I'm not there. I don't have money. I don't have power, and anything can happen behind closed doors. I get that. So I'm trying to not
happen in a field.
Right. I'm not
You
trying
can do it in a
to
tree
be
if you've got a
naive.
good look back.
I just feel like I would like to bring the moral side of me out of this and think.
And I'm not saying he does, because I don't know.
Right.
I would never say he does.
Let me ask a question. Real quick. Has anything come out, whether it was a Washington Post article or anything like that, directly implicating Dan Snyder?
No.
Not in any criminal action, which a sexual assault would be, or even I've never even seen a rumor of him having an affair.
No, nothing.
Well, when that cheerleader story came out where supposedly there was pimping cheerleaders, but there was no proof to that either.
That was all hearsay.
I think that the cheerleaders had something to say and they were taking passports. But the other side of that is I completely got out of that whole story that Dan had nothing to do with that. That was these guys from the front office that were doing some rogue shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, right.
I have a feeling the $10 million was it was adding up through the years of all the things that they've gotten out of it.
50 cents at a time for every time this motherfucker's fucked up my team.
Yeah. They said, okay, well, let's take this. Let's add it up since the time that you fucking own this franchise. Now, I think that personally, I don't know, because there's no proof linking Snyder to anything. And when you bring up that $1.6 million lawsuit, that could be fucking anything. That could have been him and a group of friends talking shit to a fucking waitress, just talking. And they could have paid her off. And he didn't even pay her off. An insurance company paid her off. It could, right. And that was not anything in a sexual misconduct type of nature type thing either.
Look, once again, kiddies, and I don't mean you guys, but this is how the world works. A lot of times when you see a payoff like that from an insurance company, it's because the insurance company took a look at it and say, it's going to cost us too much to litigate this, even though we're going to pay you this. And that's what it's going to go away for. I mean, some people are so goddamn naive. What do you think? You're going to get justice in this fucking country? Get the fuck out of here. You need some cash. You need some cash.
Yeah.
So,
well, what I'm waiting for is the YouTube commenter that tends to troll me in the comments, who says that I do and say things for nothing but attention. I'm sure he's going to come back on. Oh yeah, I don't care.
So does Dave Chappelle.
I think it's funny. No, trust me. I think it's funny as hell. But you're only being nice about Dan and not saying bad things about Dan because you're an ambassador now. You better go and delete all the bashing stuff. First of all, at the end of the day, I'm allowed to have my opinion. And if the team doesn't want me to have anything to do with being an ambassador because of an opinion, then I can kick rocks. That's fine. I'm allowed to have my own opinion on that. Do I treat things differently now? Sure. Who wouldn't? But I could get into that.
You're a representative of the team. I mean,
you're part of something different.
Have to.
Yeah. Look, I don't want to put it like that because that's putting it like I'm someone special and that I get paid.
No. And I don't.
Listen,
don't sell yourself.
You agreed
short,
to take part in
man.
the program.
This is a program. This is a team program, and you're out there doing shit for the fans, not for your own agenda, for the fucking fans.
And it's not going to be easy either.
No,
that is so much
some work.
It's good for fans that are not the 4 or 5 little freaking immature twits on Twitter that can't get over them goddamn selves and think their opinions matter so much. Fuck off.
Or the people that have been involved with the organization that once all these people like Robert Dorr got, cleaned out, now they have no general direct connection to the team. And so now you're seeing their true colors come out on Twitter, upset about that because they don't have a connection now. And so all these newer folks, including myself, have found a way to, get these connections on our own. And, I've thanked Joey probably several times for even bringing me on and thinking of me as a leader for this program. And every single time he says to me, he says, stop, he'll say, stop thanking me. This was you got yourself in here. You got yourself to be able to be a part of this. Yeah, exactly. And so, I appreciate that, but that's what I'm saying. I'm just that part is interesting because people are gonna be like, oh, he's changing. He's not gonna bash Dan like he used to do in the past. Look, I'm not bashing anyone at this point. And
what is bashing? Is it telling the truth? Is it saying this is my opinion of this guy and how our team's being run?
And that's what I'm saying too. And listen, Pete, like, okay, you're gonna get on to me about that, but people like JP Finley and all these local media, right? They're on their radio shows and they do this exact same thing, right?
It's an opinion.
But then they go out on the field on game day and they get to interview these players, the coaches, it's just a part of a job, right? And that's kind of the way that I see this. Even though I don't get paid to podcast, I don't get paid to be an ambassador for the team. I'm no one special, but it's nothing different.
Ambassador for the team. You are special. Don't ever tell yourself that.
I love you.
You've got a cup that says King
John,
right on it.
You always find a way to you tear me down, then you build me back up again. I love it.
Before we, I do want to touch on the ambassador program in a bit, but before we get there, I want to talk about the statement that Dan Snyder put out. Was it yesterday? I kind of want. I'm going to read part of it real quick, and I want to see what your reactions are, especially John's. It says, "I have learned a lot the past few months about how my club operated, the kind of workplace that we have. Now it is clear that the culture is not what it should be, but I did not realize the extent of the problems or my role in allowing that culture to develop and continue. I know that as the owner, I am ultimately responsible for the workplace. I have said that, and I say it again." I'm going to stop right there.
This fact of, I now see it. Dude, you have been sitting in a fucking burning car that you lit on fire yourself for 20 years going, God damn it, it's getting hot. What the hell? Somebody rolled out a window or something. Jesus Christ. This is what his lawyer said. You're going to sign this. And he went, I don't want it. And he said, okay, you're going to sign this anyway. It's a step in the right direction. People say a lot of things. Do it. Yeah. Do it.
It's just like when a player does something wrong and then comes back and apologizes, and they do it through social media. Right.
After further thought, my actions were not
right. Right. No, this is after coach snatched your ass up and said, yeah.
I shouldn't have left her tied up in that hotel room.
Or your agent, your agent telling you, ooh, this is not good for your market. It's one of those, I see the light now. Let's move forward and
let's somebody opened the door and caught him. That's why they see a light. Because if they didn't do that, they wouldn't say shit.
Does he really think that we're that naive to realize now after 20 fucking years of this that he's just now getting it? The light's now coming on.
I thought something stunk in here.
Look,
I thought something. I said, look under the trash can for some fish.
Did he really think that Vinny and Bruce was doing such a great job with this organization?
We're 3-13 again. You keep telling me that's good. What the fuck is this?
Winning off the field.
Right.
The culture is damn good.
He mentioned that in his statement too. He mentioned that in the statement, saying that he realized that things were going differently when Bruce Allen said the culture is damn good and we're sitting at a losing record.
Let's go hire this Keith guy and make an ambassador out of him. So change his culture around here.
Oh man, I'm the wrong guy for
that. He promises. He states that he feels remorse. And he can't turn back the clock, but he promises that nobody who works here will ever have to experience that again.
I swear
at
to God.
least as long as Tanya and I are the owners of this team.
No more cameras in the ladies' room. I swear to God.
Look,
no more mirrors on the floor.
Moving forward, I want Tanya to truly run this organization.
Me too.
Look, and if we can all admit it, women rule this world, bro. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
Women rule this world.
Now, last week you told us that babies came out of those vaginas. Now, I've heard a lot of tweets from some people, and if you could possibly tell some of them where the clitoris is, that would be
that would be a big help.
No comment, John. You're killing me, John. God, John.
Where's my damn pen? I need.
I'm
notes.
getting kicked off the hog farmers like ASAP.
Oh no, you're not.
Anyways,
All right, look, I want to touch on a point where many people, I'm talking fucking media, and I cannot believe this is fucking happening. I can't believe this. I find this fucking laughable that they're really talking about this. When Dan Snyder mentions Washington Football Club, the fucking Twitter and fucking the media was like, is that
everybody's circling.
Oh my God.
Everyone's circling when it said
It's-
club.
Oh, it's going to be club. Guess what? The fucking LLC name or whatever, it was the Washington Redskins Football Club. That's the fucking name of the goddamn organization. It had been for fucking many, many, many years.
What do you mean it's not a club? They keep charging me dues, for God's sakes.
So I'm going to tell you this. There has been some NDA signed. None of those are the names.
No, it's not.
You know,
It's
I don't
not.
think club will even come into it because it sounds
No, there's no thing.
It doesn't. It's not American.
There's
You
no
know,
thing. There's no
these are
football
the same
team. There's
people.
no club. There's no nothing. And again, the standpoint in this is the name that's going to be chosen is going to be a name that there's going to be people that like it, and there's going to be people that don't. And
Oh
what
my
the
God,
theory
life in
is,
America.
right? Oh, duh, right? But the theory is this: is when the team, if the team continues to progress from what we saw from last year, most of us aren't going to care what the name is. And I have
That's
to
right.
tell you, and let me just say this, because I'll be honest here. I've been feeling like people think I'm a sellout, right? And I've even been questioning this myself, all right? And I'm going to be 100% honest here. I didn't know how I felt about all of this actual attention. I didn't know how I felt because, again, a year ago, I literally was like, Redskins till I die, get off my grass.
You grew
Okay,
up a little bit.
listen.
You know, things change.
Well, and I still,
Nothing wrong with change.
honestly, deep down inside, I still feel that way, right?
Sure, but you can't do anything about it.
Correct. And I think that because this happened, it gave people an opportunity to try to find so many different ways on how we can keep the name similar to what it is, how we can keep the name to represent the DMV. But it was, we're thinking way too much into this at this point, is how I see this a year later. Because if you think about it, you got most of these names are generic names. Okay. Detroit Lions.
They
Lions.
all are.
Exactly. Arizona Cardinals. Right.
Some of them have regional importance.
Dolphins.
Yeah. Miami Dolphins. So yeah. So there's regional importance.
Let's be quite honest about things too. A dolphin couldn't catch jack shit. You get a dolphin out on the field, that motherfucker ain't getting down the field at all. He ain't running any patterns.
John, you're killing my point, you a-hole.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
All I'm saying, what I'm saying is I think that we got too deep in trying to figure out how we can connect the name to all of these different things when we really missed the big picture here. And it took me a year to realize the big picture of the connection is Washington. Okay.
Yeah.
Then that moniker name can be generic. So my point is this: if they were to choose the name Wolves, is that the worst name in the world? Red Wolves is stupid. Okay, I'll tell you that because you're specifically calling. Hold on.
According to one of your ambassadors, he has information that it's not. Never mind. I'll get to that in a minute.
Okay, let me retract that. This is my opinion only, and I'm going to give the whys behind it. Okay. I'm not mad at the people who like the name Red Wolves anymore. I don't argue with those people. I haven't argued with them in a long time. I did not like the name Red Wolves because I didn't like how we were tying it to a certain group of wolves that were like these they look like little foxes to me, right?
And they're chiselers, man. Those motherfuckers will borrow $1 from you. You'll never see it again.
Right. So I looked at them as like big rodents, basically. And
big rodents.
So, but now you talk about something generic like wolves. Are wolves tough? Absolutely.
Sure. Hell yeah.
Okay. Does Washington Wolves sound good? Sure.
Yes, it does.
It fits. So my thing is stop trying to tie the moniker into the cities, the regional areas, the metropolitan areas. I'm just
Wolves
saying,
can.
tie that with the name of the first name of your team, which is Washington, which is what you're representing, right? Let the other name just be generic. So if it was Wolves, if it was Warriors, it's at the end of the day, it's all generic, right? Also, Wolves, though, again, to that person that you were talking about, Jesse, who would tell you that there's a significant from red wolves and wolves, it's the spirit animal of the Native Americans, and Native Americans can't come after us. And well, they can if they
Nobody
want to.
can.
Oh, I wasn't.
Hold on,
I
hold on.
wasn't talking about that person, but I know what you're talking about.
But you're right. But what I'm saying is one, Native Americans can't have everything. Okay, they don't own the wolves, and if the team is not branding around saying that wolves is a spiritual animal of the Native Americans,
it's an animal.
And again, people need to remember Native Americans, right? Native Americans did. And what I'm being told is that Washington Post being wrong, but whatever.
Oh, imagine that.
Right. Whatever. I guess the point that I'm trying to make here is that we were forgetting that it wasn't the Native Americans that actually got the name changed. It was the corporate sponsors that did that.
No,
right.
It wasn't.
So
No, it wasn't. How's Walmart going to tell NFL properties we're going to carry 31?
When FedEx tells you they're pulling out, Nike tells you they want nothing to do with you. Come on, John. That's a lot of money.
Tell you what, I think they jump on board because there's a big demographic that's growing out there. But I think that this was done before that. Snyder needed to change his entire image, and that's one of the first things he could do, and he did.
No. That's collective. Okay, that's I think was part of the many reasons why this happened. Okay, I do agree with that 100%. You got to change your image. You were a guy that said that was insensitive to people who didn't like the name and said, I'm never changing the name. Okay, now you're labeled as an insensitive a-hole. Okay, and
who's got to have a gigantic article about to come out to really show what kind of an a-hole he is.
Correct. So that was a large part of it. Corporate sponsors were threatening, plus what the current event at that time that was going on was a huge part, because you had these corporate sponsors that were now pandering to that situation, which I'm not here to argue.
They're just trying to get the money.
At the end of the day, it was all about the money, right? And so
it always is.
Always is.
So
always
is. So I guess just going back to it as a fan, I was so, we were all so focused on, we got to keep it to this and that. No, we don't, because what their fake name right now focuses solely on Washington. And that's what's going to continue to happen. And then you just put some generic, what are we? We're wolves now, right? Or we're warriors now. Now,
let me tell you
the fan can take that name and do whatever they want with it. Anyone can be a warrior. You can say, oh, I love the wolves because it's a spirit to the Native Americans, when at the end of the day, that's not even why that was chosen.
Good for you. Look, I'll tell you what, the first time that the Cowboys are trying to drive for a game-winning fucking score against us, and they're down around the 40-yard line, and instead of yelling Dak or anything else, people are howling their heads off, and there's a 80,000 football Wolves fans in that stadium howling at Dak Prescott, they're going to get right in line, especially if he throws an interception.
I'd have to admit, and I definitely danced around it, okay? And I definitely tried to make people feel stupid for even thinking it, but let's be honest, you got 90,000 because I'm good like that, right? But let's be honest, 90,000 fans howling in a stadium, like you said, after we just
intimidating.
It can be intense. It can be intense. And let's be honest, it's an updated version to sing and fight for old DC. So
it's an updated version of stomping on a RFK until it's bouncing up and down.
Correct.
That's what
again, it took me a year to grow into this idea. So, but now what I'm going to have is people see like, oh no, you're only saying that because now you're working with the team and you're becoming one of them. And that's not the case. It's the case that I'm a grown ass man. I can make my own decisions and I can have an opinion about something. And it's okay for me to change that opinion once I learn and grow, which is the same conversation I had with Jason Wright. I told Jason that Wednesday, sitting in his little chair, I said, man, a year ago, I wasn't trying to hear any of this. And I said, but what I failed as an adult, okay, because I was so connected to the name and my dad that I was being selfish. And that was my exact words. I said, I was being selfish. I wasn't thinking about how other people felt. And so therefore I was pushing my narrative and my idea on why everyone else's was so stupid. But a year later, it's okay. It's okay. You can be 42 years old and still learn something, right?
Oh yeah, you can.
And
Hell
that's
yes.
I'm still gonna learn. My wife teaches me shit
I'm
every day.
58. I'll be learning forever.
Sorry,
Mhm.
hog
I hope
farmers. I
so.
just said edit it
Oh,
out and
yes.
say poop.
Fuck.
I didn't realize that was in your
John, you were
contract.
going to say something?
No, I was just going to say shit and poop and fucking all that sort of thing so I can get people in trouble.
Sorry, hog farmers. Please don't release me. Please.
Um,
I'm enjoying my time with you guys.
Finishing up with the with the statement, Dan said that he appreciated everybody coming forward, and he fully intends to implement all the recommendations coming out going forward. He's going to focus on the pride of its employees, fans, partners, and he also agrees with the commissioner's decisions in the matter. And he's committed to, he says it again, committing to implement all the recommendations. Tanya's going to resume the responsibilities as the CEO, and he's going to concentrate his time on developing a new plan, as I just spit everywhere.
Good.
He's
Nice ship in a
grateful.
bottle. Gotta build that.
He's grateful and blessed to lead a wonderful organization that has always stood for excellence and winning. It always stood for that when you weren't the owner. He's focusing on building the team's community, the charitable efforts, and he's confident that Rivera and Jason is going to that they have outstanding management team, which I fucking agree with wholeheartedly.
I do too.
He put
100%.
he hired all the right people to take care of
He
his
did.
organization.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time this man is going to step away. I think
Yeah.
he's going to let his wife run
I
this
hope so.
organization. Now, is he going to have some input? We'd be naive to say that he's not going to talk to his wife and give
Oh, of
some
course.
input. I mean, you're still owning
I
the
just don't
team.
want him making friends with players like he
No.
used to.
Yeah,
Right.
that-
No. He's
Yeah,
going to be
exactly.
away from the scene. And
Right.
again, I think his wife is going to make all the right, wife is going to make some decisions. He's got all the right people in all the right places. Okay.
Right.
So like Jason Wright doing what he's doing, but he hired Joey Colby Begovich, who worked for Carnival Cruise Line in his past, who was for guest experience and services, who's now bringing his experience to the team. And his idea was, hey, fan ambassador program. So now he's running that. Talk to Jason Wright about fan ambassador program. Jason has no idea what's going on with that. Okay. He's not a
It's
part
not
of
his
that.
job.
Right.
Yeah.
He's
He
got a bigger
hired
fish to fry.
Right. He hired somebody to do that. And
Right.
that's what someone in his position does. So again, Dan is allowing these people that were hired for their specific positions to do their job.
One of their jobs is to go downstairs and get me some fresh ice.
You have people
Like
like
Jerry's Pablo.
Tom Lavero and
Hey,
Sally
hey.
Jenkins, still under the belief that this is all a farce, that Dan's going to meddle again. It might
Sure.
not be this year, but
Lepers don't
it's
change their
probably gonna
spots,
be-
right?
Yeah. I feel differently. I think this is the kick in the ass that he now I'm not 100% in this, but I'm more like maybe 75% in this. This was the kick in the ass that he needed, and that the NFL is not going to let him do that anymore.
I'm a
Look.
firm believer Tanya is going to change that narrative.
Yeah.
Good. Because I'll tell you, the size of that fine is quiet. He's been about it. Everything else that came down, the name change, they've got leverage on him. All right.
Yeah,
And you don't
they
get
do.
that for nothing. They've got leverage on him in the league right now, and they're gonna squeeze him a little bit. I think that's a good thing.
And I think that what I ought to do is, since we're both going to have some time off, Captain Pablo and I should go out into the Atlantic Ocean, and maybe Dan and I could have some goddamn boat races. What do you think?
I love you, Jura.
Oh,
Jerk.
that's that complicated.
To finish up on Dan Snyder, I want to go over the recommendations that Roger Goodell made for Dan Snyder. The first one was develop a formal protocol for reported allegations of harassment and misconduct. Developed a formal disciplinary action for disciplinary action plan for misconduct. Conduct anonymous workplace cultural and sexual harassment climate surveys. Have
Boom.
third party.
Sorry,
You're good. Have a third party provide regular training for all employees on bullying, harassment, and workplace conduct issues. Increase the number of women and minorities throughout the organization, which they have done so.
Yeah. Tanya's going to implement that structure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Implement a clear organizational structure chart and clear lines of authority, which pretty much means you have Tanya Snyder, Ron Rivera, and everybody fucking else.
This goes back to the let them do their job, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So Ron Rivera, okay, is a huge part of, drafting players, running the team. Tanya is going to be a huge part in implementing that infrastructure that you just read. Okay. That's what owners should be doing.
Yep.
Owners should not be on the field telling Ron Rivera who needs to be drafted. Owners need to actually be more involved with a structure system like that to protect his business, right?
That's goddamn
and
bold.
that's
It's
what
absolutely.
I truly believe Tanya is going to do. And when people see this, I think people are then going to step away. We continue to be successful and people see that Ron Rivera is making the football decisions, right? We're going to never think about this other stuff again. It's going to go away.
That's just boring. I like much better to have myself involved in everything. Get out there on a goddamn Sunday, have 5 or 6 scotches, and while I've had my fun with a game day hostess, called out on the sidelines and say, "Garrett, what the fuck was that? I told you to throw the play action goddamn pass. Now you do what I tell you." That's what an owner should be doing, and that's how I got me this here boat.
Yep. And an owner should be holding their coach and coaching staff accountable for wins and losses.
Yeah.
Especially the third quarter. God damn it, I told you not to run it off the left tackle. He's hurt.
That's it.
That's it. That's pretty much it. Yeah. They're going to expand and empower, and I think this is very important right here. They're going to expand and empower the in-house human resource and legal departments. Now, instead of you had one motherfucking woman doing the whole entire human resource and the legal department of the whole entire organization. This is players, coaches, office staff.
It's meant to be overwhelmed.
One person. You had one person doing that. You need to have a whole fucking department, man.
I'm surprised they didn't.
Yeah, it's crazy to me.
It's a huge company. It might not be a huge company in terms of how many people are actually involved with it, but you're you're worth billions, man. This is a big company. Get the hell on the goddamn plan.
Take care. Just think about just the players. You have to intake all them players, and we're talking about you got 90 people on the field coming, and people are coming in and out doing all that paperwork and shit. That's crazy. That's nuts.
Listen, I said take a number. I'll be right back. I've got to get myself some coffee.
Player accountability when they do things wrong, really needs to come from the owner, right, the CEO, and not waiting for Roger Goodell to make a decision, right? So now, if Roger Goodell says, "Well, okay, that's appreciate you doing that," but now that you represent our brand,
there's team punishments and there's NFL punishments. Those things are separate.
Correct.
Again,
it depends on the offense.
You can get punished by both the NFL and the team.
Correct, because you're hurting not just one brand but two.
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
It depends on the offense. I mean, I wouldn't want the owner fining him for their socks being low, but if he's out there, punching women, then he does have the right to say, "I don't want this person in my organization." I don't have to wait for Roger Goodell.
Develop an onboarding, performance management, and compensation system, and an exit interview process.
That's normal.
Get the hell out doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, exit interviews are crazy. I don't even know how you're going to to even do those, but I know that most of your, retail corporations
Yeah.
try to do retail or
They do in
exit
government
interviews.
too. Yeah, they do in
Yeah.
government too.
They
Yeah.
they try to do these exit interviews because it
I
gives them
performed I performed 2 of them last week.
Right.
It happens all the time.
You saw the exit interview with Bruce Allen. They walked right past each other in the Thousand Cowboys Stadium, and
Hey, fuck off. Okay, you too.
that was about it.
Ensure cheerleaders or dance team has access to HR and other organizational resources. I don't know why they wouldn't in the first place, which is crazy. Retain an independent consultant to conduct annual assessments of all employment policies.
That's a
one
smart idea.
is
That's the one that
important
keeps you
right there.
honest.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
bottom line, everything you're reading, Jesse, this is all Tanya.
Yeah. Well, no, hold on. You're going to get to the point of this.
His lawyer saying you're going to do
owner
this.
Dan, this wasn't from the team. This wasn't from the team. This is from the NFL. Well, kind of. Hold on. Owner Dan Snyder was required to donate $10 million for organizations and programs aimed to improving workplace culture and diversity. He will step down from running the team's daily operations for the next several months. Okay, this is Washington 2021. The other side of the page, the Dallas Mavericks. Mark Cuban, do y'all remember this? He went through the same fucking thing.
It was almost the exact same result too, wasn't it?
And see, I don't know if you can see these guys right here, side by side, the recommendations and implementations, they're the fucking same goddamn thing.
Yep.
They copied and paste from the NFL.
I think it was the same lawyer that was involved.
Yeah, Beth Wilkinson.
Okay,
when you said it's a charitable contribution, some of these people are so damn cynical. Well, that just lets them write it off.
It came down. It's not only the same, different rules and policies, but $10 million as well.
Okay,
right.
That's fine. That's fine.
It set a precedent.
Well, it set a precedent, and yes, okay, it kind of looks weird that they copied that, but has there been any problems with Dallas Mavericks since?
Not that I've heard of. No,
can't hit from the outside.
So, well, but so ultimately, I don't care that it copies something else because listen, we do that all the time.
I just found that interesting.
Look, we're one of 300 million podcasts. So,
right.
Listen,
it's just the results.
A thread that me and John were on yesterday, that Dan Snyder guy, and I think I was talking about there's precedent had been set for this type of thing before, and the NFL
obliterated
went off that precedent, I believe, because Mark Cuban was doing some of the exact same fucking things as Dan Snyder was doing as an owner of a professional sports organization. He was shitty to employees. He had he was an egomaniac. He treated people like shit. So there's precedent now, and I think things are going to get better. Again, I'm going to apologize to fans that think I'm taking the side of Dan Snyder, which is not the case whatsoever. And I feel bad for all women involved that they didn't get the justice that they thought they were deserved. Yes. I feel for you. I really, really do. And I understand it. And I get it. I definitely get it. But I'm this might sound bad, but I'm a realist. I saw this coming from a mile away, and I think a lot of us did. It's just how fucking the world works when you have money, when you want to try to save face, they're going to help their partner out, because that's what the NFL owners are. They're all partners, even if they don't like each other.
What you do to one can be done to you.
Exactly.
Yep. See, the other thing is when people were talking about the amount of the fine, we don't know what their bylaws are, what limitations are on them. I have no idea. What are they allowed to do? Give us your firstborn kid.
It'd be fucked up if that fucking $10 million fine was donated to terrible organizations was wound up being tax deductible.
Well, if he's donating in charity, it is tax deductible, I would think. And there's people again that are so cynical that's looking at me skating again. Well, I guess we could not give $10 million to that fucking orphanage.
Exactly.
It's $10 million. Yeah, you're right, Jesse. The way the world works is the way it is. And that's a good part of it. $10 million is going to somebody who needs it.
Yeah.
Again, and this is going to kind of
to the hog farmers.
This is going to be, Oh God, man.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
The problem is well, I don't want to get into that. But anyways, I think ultimately overall there was just a lot of bad moves made within his tenure as the owner of this company. Right? We could have done. We could sit here and do this. Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
That's you, Matt Bowen.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Snyder, if he really loved the Redskins name, he could have done more for the Native Americans. I'm just saying.
Yeah. The thing about that, remember he established that trust, right? And then it turns out that once he got the trademark approved, he stopped paying into it.
Right.
So, look, when you read 10,000 things about how shitty this person is, I think it's a pretty safe bet he's a shitty person.
Yeah.
When everybody says the same thing about him, I think they're probably onto something.
Yeah. I mean, we'll never know for 100% sure. Maybe he's just misunderstood.
I don't really care. Sign the checks, stay out of the fucking coach's way and let me watch my football.
Exactly. All right. So moving on real quick, I want to touch on this just for a moment. Keith, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
It's an important question, I think. Please explain to our listeners exactly what the fan ambassador program, what you guys do. You are a fan ambassador. You work for you're part of the excuse me, don't want to sell you short. The leader of the community section of the ambassadorship. Can you please explain to us exactly what you guys are supposed to do?
Yeah, man, I feel like I just keep putting this on repeat after repeat. We have a sense of responsibility. One, we didn't get it based upon nominating ourselves, which I never did, by the way. But anyways, we got it because other people felt that we would be good in this role. Okay.
You got it because I got drunk one night and put your name in there. I said, look at this guy. This will be great. He'll be in there telling them how bad broccoli and cheese sauce is and everything.
I mean, I am trying to get mayo in FedEx. I am going to slip Miracle Whip in FedEx. But no, no thunder. It's as ambassadors, we do have a certain connection to the team. Yes. But our roles and responsibilities, and from what we know currently right now, until we have our first actual structural meeting, is we are the voice of the fans. That doesn't mean we're speaking for fans. Okay. That means, well, there's some people out there that think that, well, they're not speaking for me. No,
tell Wes Martin he sucks for me, if you don't mind.
Listen, no one's speaking for anyone. Okay. What this is I'm assuming that when we talk about the structure, they're going to say, okay, this is, Keith, this is
like a conduit.
Right. Keith, this is what we want you and your group to focus on. Okay. People were selected for certain reasons. They were selected, yes, for podcasts. They were selected because they have a heavy social media following. I mean, Barstool Sports is in there, right?
Yeah, right.
The guy from the Today Show, he's media. Okay.
Yeah.
It's no secret that there were reasons why folks were being selected for these categories. And so with that being said, we'll have an agenda. And as a leader and as the other people that are in my perspective category, again, which is community, is, hey, what were you good at? What was the reason why you were selected? Oh, you were selected because you have a Facebook presence, type deal. Okay, we would like you to use your Facebook presence to reach out to the fan base to get ideas on such and such, utilizing whatever presence they have to try to reach as many people as possible. Okay, I was told I was selected because one, I don't hold back. Okay. I'm very thorough with my thoughts and opinions. I'm very strong about them, but I'm also open-minded. And I have a Twitter social media presence. So it's expected of me, okay, to whatever it is that I'm being told that I need to reach out to the fan base about. It's expected of me to give the fans a voice and allow them to tell me what their opinions are. I take notes of all this stuff. I'm probably going to have pages and pages, right? I'm going to bring it to the quarterly meeting and I'm going to say, hey guys, I went through this. This is what we have, right? And from there, they may say, Keith, as a leader, think about the top selections that you think would do well. Then I may bring that to the table, okay? But at the end of the day, they're making all of the final decisions. So
of course,
they may come back to me and say, all right, Keith, we saw your list. We like these 5 or these 10 things. I need you now to reach back out to your people. Okay, your people. Let me take that back. To
the people.
The people. I'm sorry. My apologies. The people. Okay.
We expect you. You're a man of the world.
Reach out to the people and say, okay, this is the list. Let's focus group this. What do you think? And then I come back to them again, right? Because this ambassador thing is only for this year. It's not like we're continuing the following year. Now, they may still do an ambassador program, which I think they will, right? But they're going to choose new people. It's not going to be the same people. Yeah. So after this year, that's it for me, right? And I'm okay with that. Get as many people as involved as possible. But that is our responsibilities from what we're being told. Now, with that being said, right, certain people have different personalities, okay, which is also why they were selected. But we need to be very careful on our decision-making process and we can't be, empathetic to people and their opinions, right? And I don't want to hear, okay, so as a leader, right now, as a leader, I'm stepping up because this is what I would do in my own workplace, okay, is I would come to my employees, okay, that work underneath me, and I would say, what you're doing doesn't look good, okay? You can't be involved in something that doesn't allow you to be, you can't be opinionated to other fans' thoughts and feelings. And they're coming, well, I don't want to change who I am. I'm always, upfront and real. That's why they selected me.
Then you should have declined the invitation.
Correct. Wow. Because my thing is this, right? You're representing fans, whether they want you to or not. Okay.
And listen, to me, you're not only representing the fans, but you're representing the Washington football team as well. It's just how it is. I'm gonna vomit. I just vomited in my mouth just a little bit.
Hello, Mrs. Gray.
Go away. Go away. We are trying to finish up this podcast.
This
is what green. I deal with on a daily basis.
Ugliest green I've ever seen.
Go away.
That's
why you almost fell. That's why we caught that. You almost fell. Get out of here. Get out of here. I can't. This is why I am the way I am. Goodbye.
Not only do you guys represent the fans, you do represent us. You represent our feelings and our beliefs and our wants and but you also have to represent the team as well.
You're an avenue for us to the team.
You're a conduit. No, you don't get paid by the team. We get that. We understand that.
Did he just call you a dick?
I'm looking at ambassadors, and it's a way for me to be able to let the team know how I feel about things.
Not everybody
without having to write it in the bathroom on the wall.
That way,
and those who don't see it that way need to get their fucking head checked, because that's the way it is, man. And you need to look at the overall fucking picture of the matter.
You will like the team the way I tell you to like the team.
You got picked for a reason.
Well, and that's why
that doesn't mean you have to be a fucking dick.
Well, and that's why when people say don't change who you are, I kind of have to.
You change who you are all the time, though.
All the time.
All the respect factor. It's
but
as
you grow, correct. But I can't always be go away.
Yes, he can. That's at least the third time he said it. I'm sorry. Oh, look.
Now, if she starts
Anyways.
twerking,
She first of all, she's Caucasian. She doesn't know how to twerk.
Oh, I like that one. That's pretty cool. I like that.
Go away. Anyways, so the God, she totally killed my whole point. I really my life. Goodbye. I guess what I'm trying to say is that Jesse, what did you say?
I'm just
This
saying.
is because we did this on a Saturday.
You were being an ambassador is it's a respect factor. You need to respect the people that
two-way
fans. It's your job.
I can't, like, at some point trolling's got to come to an end, right? Like,
right.
I can do it and have fun in different ways with it.
Yeah.
Okay, but the part where I'm rude to people, okay, which back in the day I didn't care about anyone. I didn't care about, because I didn't know anyone. Okay, I was just some random guy with 400 followers, and all I did was just, you know, troll. I wasn't like rude, like abusive to people. I wasn't trying to get personal information and ruin people's lives. I was trying to be funny at what I was doing, right? But as you grow through time, okay, and I meet people, I'm changing. And now that I've taken on a responsibility that, to be honest, I am taking the ambassador thing seriously in a sense, because
you should.
The whole point of it, like I said, was for me. I know that there's a lot of people that like me, right? And feel good that they can tell me what they feel and know that I'm going to actually bring that to the table, whether I agree with it or not, right? That right there, I used to think, why would they choose me as a leader? Because of that right there. Because I'm not using just my narrative of how I feel. I'm bringing everyone's opinions, and I'm bringing that to the table. And I'm letting
what
team,
you're supposed to do.
Correct. And I'm letting the team decide, okay, what they want to do in that aspect. I'm the middleman. That's the way that it is.
Yeah.
And is it going to be totally, completely fun to write down 3,000 different opinions? No. You know why? Because I'm doing it for free, right? And I'd rather get paid, but I'm not. Okay. But the upside to that is I get to go to team facility on Wednesday to sit down with Jason Wright. So to me, it's all worth it, because again, at the end of the day, me being an ambassador was not about me. It was about people that I'm associated with. And it was about telling my story about where my passion came from. And that was from my dad. And I told my dad's story, right? In the interview, I talked about my dad in Jason Wright's office, right? And I walked out of there for the first time in my life saying, I did it. I was able to live my dream and talk about the very person that gave me this passion, right? And right now I'm hyped because that's passion. And that's the way that I feel.
And there's you're not the only fan like that. There's hundreds of thousands of fans like that.
Absolutely.
And the people that,
and I hope one day they get to tell their story.
And the people that were picked for this ambassador program is that lifeline to them, to the team. Right. So treat them with respect. That's all 100%. I'm saying. 100%. Treat them with respect, and don't call them names just because they don't like.
Grow up. That's what
you don't like what they're saying. I think it's unacceptable behavior to me.
The team could have told everybody to go screw. Not ever bothered to talk to anybody. Not even tried to reach out to the fans. They could have said, fuck it, give us your money anyway. You will. But they're doing the right thing. So yeah, man, people just chill.
And that's it, man. That's all I'm saying. And I love the idea of the ambassador program. I think it's a great idea. I know not every single person likes it, but the majority of the fans do. And we see this team that's trying. They're trying to right the wrongs. They're trying to turn this fucking culture around. But if you're not going to be a part of that culture change, then we don't want to have you.
Right.
Yeah. Get lost. Go up to Philly. Be with those people.
And
no
also,
offense, Mrs. Gray.
Yeah, she could get lost too. She's about to get 1-800 divorce papers. So, anyways, the last point that I want to make, because I know we've ran this episode, kind of long. And I definitely think we need to push on people really listening to this one, because I think this is one of our better ones, to be honest with you, as far as what we've talked about. But the last point that I want to make too is when people tell me don't change because you joined the hog farmers. Man, I thought about that for a good couple weeks. And listen, the hog farmers came to me because they saw change in me, right? I'm not saying that I'm not going to cuss. I'm not saying that I'm not going to, be me. But the hog farmers seen change in me. And at the end of the day, I really care more about helping kids, okay, with, that have cancer and being able to put smiles on their faces than worried about anyone on Twitter and how they think about how I've changed. I have changed. I have. And you know what?
And there's a reason. There's a reason for that change.
Of course. Well, because I care. I care about people in general, right? And I've always displayed that, and I always will continue to display that. But I care. And you know what? Nothing wrong with change. If that means that I'm doing something better with my time than sitting on Twitter and arguing with some fool over RG3, okay, and who's the better quarterback between him and Kirk Cousins, I'd rather spend my time helping kids with cancer. And guess what?
Which everybody should.
Exactly. But guess what? Hog farmers, is Chris opened the door for that. Those guys talked, those guys brought me in, and I'm going to take every advantage of it.
Sure. Don't blame you one bit.
And that's it. So for anyone that's like, don't change, sorry, I have.
You got to. And
I've changed, and I've come to terms with that. Yeah, I've changed. But
those folks that say don't change, y'all need to change.
Right.
They need to change.
My change is this. It's for the greater good. And that's all I care about.
Hogfarmerscharity.org.
So that's Keith's corner, even though we didn't announce it.
Yeah, there you go.
Hogfarmerscharity.org. I do have a question for you, though, Keith. You did say earlier that you were much more open-minded. So I'm curious, does that mean you're going to try the new organic Lunchables?
I knew it. I knew it. Let me rephrase. I'm not open-minded. I'm not open-minded to food. Okay. It is what it is. It's Dino Nuggets, mac and cheese for me. Sorry.
That's right. Juice boxes all the way.
All right, guys. Y'all got anything else?
No, I've been fucking with Keith all morning.
Well, that's going to do it for our Holy Shit That Happened episode of the Bleed Burgundy podcast. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Jesse's24, JESSYS24. You can follow Keith at KGSkins26 and John at Bang Radio Hour. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's Bleeding Burgundy Podcast. You can find us on Google, Apple, freaking every other fucking platform out there. Hit the like, subscribe, leave a comment, fucking do a review, kiss my ass. That's going to be it.
Money.
Hail to the team.
Hail.